Welcome to The Edge by Behemoth Drivetrain, where we talk with the best, the boldest, and the ones pushing the sport of off-roading to the bleeding edge of performance. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay updated on our latest episodes. Let's dive in.
Welcome everybody to The Edge, sponsored by Behemoth Drivetrain, and I'm your host, Tiffany Andrews. Today we are speaking to the owner of Behemoth, Jim Winn. And Jim, let's give our viewers kind of a little idea as to why we're starting this and what they can expect.
Yeah, for sure. This is something we've talked about doing for a super long time, but it's been kind of a bandwidth thing. Like, we're fortunate we've grown so much so fast over the last few years. I think we've owned Behemoth for about 3 years now since we acquired it and kind of restarted the company under Winn Capital. And we've grown so much. This is one of the things we've always wanted to do, but it's just a matter of manpower and getting around to it. So we're excited to finally be here. But the reason why we wanted to do this is we're fortunate to, on the transfer case side, really be innovating and pushing the envelope with what we do on the transfer case side of the off-road community. But there's so many builders and designers and racers that we work with, designing specialty transfer cases for their builds, or drivers that are trying to accomplish something unique in Ultra 4 and King of Hammers. There's just so many competitive high-end people pushing the envelope of this craft that we get to work with. We thought this would be a cool way to, let our broader audience tap into some of the people that we get to talk to and work with on a day-to-day basis, whether it's, event promoters like Jake Good from We Rock, or, people at the Ultra 4 community, drivers and designers. Like, we spent 2 hours on a conference call today with a builder down in Florida that's designing one of the most bonkers EV off-road vehicles for a huge company. And we're designing a very unique custom one-off transfer case for this build, which also has a compressed timeline. So we've got to have it done in time for them to install it in this rig, which is going to be a showcase piece at SEMA. We do so much of that. So this is our chance to, again, let our customers and our broader Behemoth audience tap into that knowledge base that we've been so fortunate to, work with these really talented people over the last few years. So that's kind of the genesis behind the idea of this podcast.
Absolutely. And we do have a great lineup, and I can't wait to bring these episodes of people across the whole entire off-road industry, like you said, drivers, event promoters, other companies, and how they are continuously pushing the limits, pushing the envelope to bring the best that they can to the off-road community.
For sure.
So let's kind of start with it, Jim. How did you even get into this line of work?
Yeah, it's a super long story that started with my wife and I being cross-country truck drivers like 20 years ago, right out of college after we got married, and then it eventually ended with our group, Winn Capital, acquiring Behemoth Drivetrain 3 or 4 years ago. And to condense that, my wife grew up in the same community as where Behemoth Drivetrain was founded, like 15 years ago or so, something like that. And work took us we've lived all over the country and, outside of the country for a while, but eventually work and family brought us back to Kentucky. We're based in this tiny little town called Litchfield, Kentucky, in central Kentucky. And we moved back here about 7 or 8 years ago, and I had kind of stumbled across Behemoth Drivetrain, and it just seemed really interesting. Unique products, unique idea, and never really did much or interacted much with it. But eventually that business closed, and someone had told me about it, and I kind of started looking into it, and I just felt like there was something really special from a creative designing and engineering standpoint there. And so we talked to the original owner and founder who had shut it down, and we acquired the designs and the rights to the company name and the blueprints. And I have a manufacturing background. I worked in a bunch of different roles with the Fastenal company, an industrial supplier, for a long time. And as a side note, one of the greatest companies on earth. I'm very fortunate to work with them and learn from some really talented people there. So I have kind of a, close to a decade of manufacturing background through them. And before that, my background is more in photography, which is super unrelated. But you can kind of see where all that comes together in Behemoth and some of the other companies we own today within Winn Capital. There's, a highly branded, very polished, well-crafted, products, packaging, branding, and then just incredibly well-machined, well-designed, well-run operation within Behemoth. So that's kind of the backstory of how I came to be in the community of Litchfield and kind of stumbled across Behemoth and just, honestly felt, the business was closed, but there was just something really compelling about the products themselves. And, we talked to our group that, collectively runs the group of companies today. And we just felt really compelled to do something with it. So to see where it's gone from when we took it, just the raw nature of the designs and the products to what they are today is, precision instruments. We like to call it functional art, which sounds kind of hokey, but I mean, you look at, anything, like you look at any high-end build, like an Ultra 4 car. I mean, yeah, it's a machine, but it's a beautiful machine. It takes so much creativity and passion to manifest that, bring it to life. And we get to do that in a small way every day at Behemoth. So we use that phrase a lot around here, functional art. That's kind of how we think about it.
And one of the things that you and your company have done, especially with Behemoth Drivetrain, and we're talking about pushing the envelope and just going that extra mile, you took a company and you just rebranded it in a way, brought it back to life, and you have so many fun, like, amazing products, packaging top notch. And let's kind of talk about what all Behemoth Drivetrain has to offer.
Mm-hmm. So we are effectively the only manufacturer of really high-end billet transfer cases. There have been people in the past who have bought some of our cases and made a copy or a copy of a copy. Those people have come and gone over the years, but Behemoth has been around for almost 15 years, and our specialty is really the drivetrain, in particular transfer cases. So billet transfer cases, the strong boxes are under drive, which complements that transfer case for additional gear reduction. We have an entire line of shafts, our juggernaut series of shafts for people that just have more and more horsepower and need more and more strength to support what they're building. One of the biggest innovations that we're bringing to market right now, few people have seen it in person, we've kind of teased it on our Instagram, is the Apex case. So the Colossus is the billet transfer case that Behemoth makes. It comes in a Dana 300 model or NP 205 model. It's compatible with stock and the Lomax gear series from JB Conversions, which is also incidentally a great company and has been a great partner of ours. But it's really expensive, and it should be. It's an amazing piece of equipment. It's made from a chunk of raw solid billet, and our internal billet shifter design is incredibly smooth and very expensive and high precision to manufacture. So it's an expensive piece. If you've got $200,000 into a build, your goal is to go out and survive King of Hammers, you probably want a billet Colossus. But that's not everybody. Not everybody needs a billet transfer case. And that's kind of where Atlas comes in. They're really the only, mass market producer of a cast aluminum transfer case. And because cast is obviously much more affordable to make and durable, but, there's a limit to it. But it's much more accessible to the everyday off-roader, still a high performance piece of equipment, but affordable. And, Atlas has done, they're also a great company and a great partner of ours. I have nothing but great things to say about the people and the team and the design at Atlas. But the Apex case that we are in the process of launching right now, it's going to be available for just mass market order by Trail Hero. We'll have them on display at Trail Hero. If you were at the We Rock competition in Dayton, you could have seen our 2-speed and 4-speed version of the Apex in person. But it's a cast aluminum Dana 300 transfer case, and so it's designed to compete directly with the Atlas. It's slightly cheaper than the equivalent Atlas, but it does come with the Lomax 4-to-1 gear set. So there's our billet shifter design, which has been well proven to be very smooth, and the customer feedback, it's much easier to shift in an Atlas, and the low max gear set from a strength standpoint is typically preferred over the Atlas gear set. So the Apex basically packs a $5,000 or $6,000 billet Colossus transfer case into a very affordable $3,400 cast aluminum transfer case. So they'll be available for pre-order soon. Our dealers have early access to the Apex, and they'll be available for just man off the street order by October in Trail Hero. So that's the biggest innovation we're bringing to market this year. Every year we do something big and substantial, and this is our investment in the community for this year is the Apex. We're super excited about it.
No, that's awesome. And I heard about it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it in person as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I do want to ask, and we're going to ask all our guests here,
Mm-hmm.
is what is a goal of yours within this company for in the next year?
Mm-hmm. We have really big plans for Behemoth over the long term, and short term, over the next year, what we're really focused on is precision. Again, we continue to grow month over month, year over year. Adding the Apex case to our product line is a huge step forward for our company. So we like to be precise. So what we're doing, for the next year is really building more and more infrastructure, adding more machines. We've got, obviously we do most of our manufacturing in-house. So we've added 2 more machines to our machine shop over the last couple of months. The latest being a Mazak that is coming online over the next week. So we'll be able to just increase our capacity of our shafts in the Juggernaut line once that machine comes online. So we've hired 3 or 4 people. Our next hire starts next week. So just adding, the right people to the team, the right equipment to our machine shop, and, supporting them with the back end, our, enterprise software that manages our build of materials and inventory, just all the infrastructural stuff. That's what we're really focused on over the next year, which sounds boring. It's exciting to me because I love that stuff. But that's what gives us the foundation to be systematic and precise and produce high quality parts in a consistent timeline. So our customers, the drivers, the builders, the designers have what they need when they need it, so they can, perfect their craft and do what they do and build stuff and get it, to the starting line on time. They can't do that unless we're incredibly good at what we do. And that's what we're focused on over the next year, just improving our just internal capacity, our infrastructure, our precision.
So what is your driving force for keep wanting to be bringing more to the companies, bringing more to the community of the off-road world with sponsorships between different events, drivers, bringing your audience now a podcast for them to get to know and just understand and see more? What is that driving force?
It's a couple of different things. Just on a personal level, I'm a creative person. Like I said, my degree was in photography, which again, super kind of unrelated to what I do now, but also kind of directly tied. Again, you can see it in just look at the studio. It's beautiful. It's got a cool look. That's I think I'm a visual person. That's just kind of ingrained in how I learned to see the world as a young person going out into the workforce. Behemoth is really kind of an extension of that. I'm really privileged to get to lead an amazing team with amazing products that I care deeply about in a community that I'm committed to being in for a very, very long time. So the more we continue to grow Behemoth Drivetrain, we can support more drivers. We can support more builders, the bigger we are. The more people we hire, we impact more lives in our local community. We pay well. Most of our team has had a raise over the last 6 months. So, there's kind of a ripple effect. I get to be challenged creatively every day in a new way, whether it's thinking about branding or, developing and training people as we have new hires, just thinking, on the financial side, how do we, manage the business and sustain for the long term, and being creative about that. And Every day. It's like I get to paint a new painting every day. It's very challenging and creatively fulfilling. And then, as we get better at that, as that painting gets bigger, as that beautiful machine we create gets bigger, that has an effect on the community that we're in. Behemoth, within our collective group of businesses, Behemoth isn't the only company that we own. So as Behemoth and our partner companies continue to grow, as we acquire more of them, that allows us to hire more people in our community, allows us to pay them better. It's a rising tide that lifts all boats with where we're at here. And then again, the better we get at what we do, the more we grow, the more people in the off-road community we can support, more drivers we can sponsor, more events we can sponsor, more We Rocks we can be at, stuff like that, more energy drinks we can give away. So we gave away, I think, 500 Behemoth energy drinks at the last We Rock event. We're going to do a lot more of that in the future. And so this podcast is, kind of just part of that wave of momentum that we've been fortunate to build and we'll keep building for the long term.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, we do have an amazing lineup to bring to all the customers, to all the viewers, just an array of different type of people throughout the off-road industry that we get to talk to and shed some light. And these are people that are pushing the limit and going that extra mile within the off-road industry to just be better, influence more, bring more products, bring better events. And it is going to be something fun that we get to bring to everybody. And we are going to put this up on YouTube, but can we talk about where else they can find some of these podcasts and content information?
Pretty much this will get released on, every podcast platform, be it Spotify or YouTube or whatever. And then obviously all our social media channels. So you can find Behemoth on Instagram. We'll have it linked there. Our own Behemoth YouTube channel. If you're on our email list, you'll get an email to this. But if you're on our email list, you also get early access to things like, the discount on the Apex release and some of our other, products and stuff like that. And we do sponsor quite a few drivers. So that's one of the best ways to, be involved with Behemoth, subscribe to our email list. So one, we can stay in touch, we can keep you updated. And when we do giveaways or we need product testing, we announce that, we release that through our Instagram and through our email list. So you'll find it basically in all the places, all the things that we can get it out. This podcast will be there. Yep.
Absolutely. And Behemoth Drivetrain now has a bus, and you guys have a big lineup coming up of schedules where that bus is going to be going to.
Yeah, the event bus has been a fun side project. It's one of those things we have extra time, and we don't have extra time very often because we are so busy making cases and doing things like Apex. So we've been chipping away at that damn bus for probably well over a year, but the bus is live. So we have a giant black and blue Behemoth bus with a huge 6 foot tall logo on either side and flamethrowers in the front, and it's hard to miss. So that was at the We Rock in Dayton a couple of weeks ago, but it'll be at all the things. You'll see it at King of Hammers. We might have a conflicting event for that bus. So it might be at Trail Hero, it might not, but Off-Road Expo and Baja 1000, we plan to have that bus at all of those events. Behemoth brand energy drinks in hand for free for people at the event. Again, just it's a cool way to be out and be more involved and have our product there so people can actually see and touch the transfer cases they've seen on Instagram and heard about for so long. So the bus has been a fun side project. So we're excited it's alive and it's rolling around.
No, I heard how amazing it was down in Dayton, and I look forward to seeing it in person as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be out your way here pretty soon.
Yep. Well, Jim, I'm excited for what we have to bring to the audience, and this is going to be a fun thing. And everybody, just tune in And you will be, if you're on the email list, you will be probably one of the first people to know what's going on. The next guest that we're going to have, we have, again, drivers, event promoters, hosts from all across the country, all across the off-roading world. And, it's going to be all about pushing the limits in the off-road industry.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we've got Travis Riley is one of our drivers. I think he's scheduled to be on one of the next podcasts, and Cam Beasley is one of our sponsored drivers, but also one of our product designers. So he has a lot of input on what we do and how we do it. And we give him all the new stuff to try to break it first, and then we refine it and make it better from there. Cam's great about giving us product feedback. Jake Good, the owner of We Rock, I'll be on here soon. So we got a great lineup. Those are just, some of the next, 2 or 3 people we've got lined up. And then, we'll be diving into Ultra 4 from there. But it's a privilege to be involved in this community and support it in every way we can, from a product standpoint, from a knowledge standpoint with this podcast. And, excited to chat with you here. So it's been a pleasure to be on.
All right. Well, thank you, Jim. And thank you for everybody tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will be back.
Yeah, talk soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Edge by Behemoth Drivetrain. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and follow us on Instagram at Behemoth Drivetrain. Until next time, take care.